First, it was $600. Then it's $2,000. Now they're talking about e-filing thresholds and 1099Ks. If 1099 season feels confusing, well, you're not wrong. Today, we're breaking down what actually matters for the 2025 filings and what is changing in 2026, which we're in. Welcome to Unfiltered Profit. We are so excited to dive into 1099s today. We're actually recording this in December, so we are still staring down the barrel of 1099 season coming upon us January 1st. But as you're listening to it. We're in it. We're in the thick of filing these bad boys. And so we're going to talk about it. Talk about what's changing this year in 2026.
Yeah, it's some good news, some not so great news. And hey, we'll just roll with the punches as we usually do with taxes.
As we have to do. Yeah. 'Tis our job. 'Tis your job as a business owner.
Yep.
We don't make the rules. We just follow them and try not to break them.
Thumbs up running a business fully. So 1099s, guys, they're pesky, right? So we have a variety of 1099s, but the ones you as a business owner should probably know off the top of your head are a 1099K. Those get issued by like a third-party processor, right? So your PayPal's, Venmo's, credit card companies, those kinds of things.
Not Zelle.
Not Zelle. Zelle does not participate in this nonsense, which makes it extra complicated. But that's fine. Mm-hmm. 1099 NECs, which stands for non-employee compensation. So you're contractors. That's what we're talking about, a 1099 NEC. And then a 1099 miss, which is like a nice catch-all for like, I owe you something, maybe rent, and I'm going to give you this form where I can put in what I'm giving you. So those are, I'd say, the three top ones. Like there's other 1099s, but they're on the personal side. These are like, as a business owner, you should be familiar with these terms.
The only other one I might add in there is if you're someone that has some private lenders and you owe them interest, then you fill out a 1099 INT for the interest payments to them. So they don't go under NEC, they go under INT, just because we got to make it more complicated.
Gosh forbid, we just put that on the miss and cover everything at once. That would be nice.
Well, and it all used to be the miss. And then they're like, nope, we need to change it to NEC. That sounds great. Why? We don't know.
No idea. Fishing boat proceeds, those go on a 1099 miss. I didn't even realize that.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Just in case. In case you go catching some fish.
Right. So from that, let's start with the easy one, 1099Ks. Those have been in the news for the last 3-4 years, every year, because originally, many years ago, you only got a 1099K if you had more than $20,000 of transactions and 200 transactions. So like a combo thing. So if you had 200 transactions, you got one. Over $20,000, you got one. And then they started lowering it. So every year they threatened, the Congress said, hey, you now have to issue them for $600 or more. And Venmo, PayPal, and every person who used those went time out. But what if it was personal income? And I don't think you should send that. So it became a big back and forth. So in the OB3, they said, never mind, we're kidding. We'll just go back to that 20,200. And that is effective for 2025. So you should not see a 1099K unless you hit those thresholds. And then you will get one. So they kind of just Uno reversed all of that nonsense, for lack of better terms. They're like, fine, we give up. It was too much paperwork. We're done. So that's the first one. I think that's the easy one. The 1099 NEC, though, that did not play as nice.
No, it never does, right? And first, we're going to talk about 2025. So we're in 2025, and let's just do a little refresher here. If you paid someone via cash, check, Zelle, that's pretty much it. Like an ACH transfer, anything that was not a credit card, PayPal, somewhere where you would potentially get one of those 1099Ks. If you paid them $600 or more in the year 2025 by January, I should know the date off the top of my head, 31st, then you must issue a 1099 NEC to them that says, hey, IRS, I paid this person blank dollars this year. What's the purpose of this form? The IRS wants to know what income they had to make sure that they are reporting all of that income on their tax return. Basically, that is all it is. So 2025, that amount was $600. 2026, we have stepped that amount up to $2,000. Praise God.
So much. And then I believe they're supposed to start indexing it for inflation, I think.
That would be nice.
It would be. Now, big question, Shauna. Can you file your taxes if you have not received your 1099 NEC yet?
I mean, some people never give you a 1099 NEC. So the reality is you must have your own good record keeping. Your 1099s are not the solution to what you're supposed to report to the IRS.
Yes. Because guess what? They might actually total your total income. You could get a handful of 1099 NECs and that could total $10,000, but you actually made 50. You know, 40 came from all these other places, but you are responsible to report it. So you should get it. If you're supposed to get it, feel free to reach out to that vendor you worked with. But if you don't get it, you can still file your taxes.
Yeah, you don't have to sit around waiting for it. And also, which we have a whole guide on our website about the W-9 process, but you don't get a 1099 if you are taxed like a corporation. This is if you are taxed like an individual, like sole proprietor. So it's an LLC that hasn't made a corporation election, you're going to get one. If you're taxed like an S Corp, you are not going to get one. And people should not be sending you one. If they send you one, they have you incorrectly tagged in their system, and you should tell them, please do not send me these next year. Yes. They're incorrect. Does it really matter at the IRS level if you get one and they just like filed it wrong for you? I don't think they care, to be honest with you. I have had people insistent before and make me go back and file a $0 one because they never updated a W-9.
Yeah, the only time the IRS is going to care if it's a significant amount that's essentially doubling your account, right? So like, let's say you're an S Corp and you report $100,000 of net income and you shouldn't have gotten any 1099s, but suddenly somebody sends you a 1099 NEC for $50,000. Well, now you might be getting to the point the IRS is like, well, is it one or is it 150? Like, which one is it? That piece I could see. The nominal amounts that are well under what you reported should not have any bearing. You should be able to easily prove to the IRS, like, here are my records. Here are my 1099s that shouldn't have been issued to me, but I've reported all of my income.
Yep. So it's great. That limit is going up. You still have to keep track of your vendors. You still have to pay them out. I think this is one of those areas that business owners don't have very good compliance on for their own systems. They're not necessarily asking for the W-9 in a timely manner. Like, we have an episode where we talk about it, but don't make a payment to somebody without a W-9 on hand, because the reality is they're probably not going to give you that W-9 after the fact. Hopefully they're honest and they do, but we've certainly seen where they're like, no, I'm not giving you that, which is sketchy, and you should probably never do business with that person again.
Well, because technically you should just withhold then. If you can't get the information, then you as the business owner, you're required at that point to withhold taxes on the payments. Because the IRS is like, well, if they won't supply that to you, there's no guarantee.
They're not going to file with us.
They're not paying me.
Yeah. This is like community policing. That's what that feels like. Like, they're not going to abide by the normal police, so let's just arm the residents.
Which is why I'll say on these reports, like, there's a spot for taxes withheld. So if you can't get the information, then you're withholding taxes. And then you have to submit it to the IRS. You're like, that's no fun. So yeah, you want those W-9s ahead of time.
Yes. So if that hasn't been your practice for 2025, that's okay. We can clean it up for 2026. So start keeping those on hand. And it is good practice. If you have a vendor that you've worked with for years and years, get an updated one, because again, their business might get to the point where they're making an election and they're being taxed as a corporation and they no longer need that 1099. So the documentation is important to have.
It is. And this is business to business. So like, also keep that in mind. Like, I think that's where I hear confusion too. And if you have a business and you have a personal life, like, that can get confusing. You don't owe it to the roofer who comes and repairs your roof at your home, because that's a personal thing. So this is business. It is not personal. Like, the contractor, the handyman who you paid a check to because they fixed something in your home does not need a W-9 and a 1099.
Which the whole thing isn't funny, right? Like, We trust business owners that work for consumers, but we don't trust business owners that work for other businesses.
Yeah, it's wild. I was working in, I can't remember my age now. I either was at Deloitte or UP when these rules rolled out. And I remember the conversations in the office from like the partners being like, so you're telling me I owe Staples a 1099 because I went and bought like a bunch of paper via check from them? And that's where you start seeing like the C Corps and S Corps get excluded because the partners at firms and the higher ups at companies were like, this is ridiculous. I mean,
yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yep.
It was wild, absolutely wild when these rolled out.
And thankfully, we're now in the day and age where we have so much electronic processing, card processing, that for the most part, you get to exclude a lot of your vendors from this.
Yep.
Which is very nice.
It really is.
Yes. All right. So new e-filing rules.
Yeah, these we had last year, probably still rolling out. But as you all know, we are trying to go paperless in this world. So you used to be able to send your 1099s paper if you had like under 250 to send in. At this point, you are e-filing them if you have 10 or more. I would just e-file anyways. The fact that checks are going away from the IRS and the government, like it is just better to e-file where you can. If you are looking for resources, if you use QuickBooks, they have a 1099 tool. There is Tax 1099 and there is Track 1099. So there are options here that are super simple to like fill out and send. Again, if you don't have professional help. If you have professional help, hopefully they're doing this for you.
Yep.
But you have options. But yeah, W-2s as well, if for some reason you're filing those. Online is going to be so much easier than like going to the library and getting the forms to fill out. And it'll be faster than waiting for the forms.
Yes, the face, the ooh face of like the filling out a W-2 by hand. Ugh.
And still submitting it to the Social Security. There's too much.
Oh my gosh.
Too much.
Yeah. The e-filing services make things simple. You fill out the information, they do the rest because they're plugged into the right systems to make the things happen.
Yeah. $2 or $3 a form. Totally worth it.
Yes. 100%. All right. So biggest thing, the amount is going up 2026. Still keep track of your W-9s. Really nothing changes. You're still going to owe them out if you have vendors that you're paying more than $2,000. Have good processes. It's a new year. New year, new you. Yeah. New business processes.
Get them in place, and better late than never. And this is the one caveat I want to leave you with is on your tax returns. There is a section that says, were you required to file 1099s? And if so, did you? Do not lie. Like, if you mark that incorrectly, if you say, well, yeah, if you say, no, I wasn't required and you were, or yes, I was required and I didn't, but you said that you did, that is a piece that you can get in trouble for. So it is better to just file them late. If you miss the deadline, don't miss the deadline. But if you miss it, like this is one area, better late than never, and don't lie on the tax return. Like you would honestly, I mean, it'll be a flag, but you would be better off saying like, yes, I was required and no, I didn't file them. At least you're not lying because you're signing that return under penalty of perjury. So let's watch that.
Yes. You want them to be able to trust the rest of what you've said on that return. Yeah.
So there you are. 1099.
Yes.
Deadlines in a couple of weeks by the time you're hearing this. So get them done, but don't do it in like a panic. If you do it February 1st, to my knowledge, everyone still lives.
Yes. And the biggest thing is you avoid the penalty. They can't say you owed that and you did not file it. Yes, I did. I was late because I did not have my crap together, but here I am.
Yes. So yeah, by the time you're hearing this, if you have not sent W-9s to your contractors, send those out, get those back, push on them a little, and then file those 1099s as soon as possible. Prioritize that this month. I don't even think the IRS is open for like tax return filing. So this first, and then you can worry about the tax returns and the refunds and all of that.
Yes. So thanks for joining us this week. We will be back with more tax season thrilling episodes on Unfiltered Profit.
Thanks, guys.